Doing good. Before I get started, I just want to condolences to George Atkinson's family. I don't know if you guys saw that. George Atkinson passed away this week. And I was very close to him at the Raiders, and he was a tremendous mentor to me when I moved into the head coach role at the end. We had a chance to meet every morning. For me, it's kind of heartbroken a little bit. And last time I talked to him was right before training camp. He'd gone through some surgery procedures, and now he's lost. And he was a tremendous player in the National Football League, and was a longtime mentor to a lot of people there, and especially me. I'll be grateful forever for the wisdom I learned from him. That being said, I'll take any questions you guys may have.
It's always hard to start off after those pitch.
So, what's that?
It's always hard to ask the
Yeah,
question
no, it's, I
after-
mean,
after
you
you
know,
have those,
we have to celebrate the life as well, and I think we all get that. For me, to not say something about that, for as important as he was to me, I would have felt like crap. So I'll take your questions. We'll be good.
What is the challenge that you face with those guys this week?
Yeah, I think, you guys have probably seen it. Their kickoff unit, they have really good coverage players, but the kicker's done a tremendous job. What everybody's calling those dirty kicks, and the ability to put it on the ground, the ability to put it in the corners. So that's been the challenge for everyone that's played against them, and it's certainly going to be a challenge for us. You can only do so many different things to work on those catches, but as we've all understood here, when that ball hits the ground as a football, it can go anywhere. And that's what it's doing when you look at the film. So the biggest challenge would be to field the ball cleanly so we can at least get started. Because when the ball hits the ground, it's definitely an advantage for the kickoff team. They kind of get that click a little bit sooner than the return team does, and it gives them a chance to get going. And if you muff it at all or can't get a clean catch on it, it certainly gives them the advantage again. So that's what we've been working on the most.
So does that mean lining up the returners closer, not farther from the goal line, I guess?
Well, we can be a little bit closer, hopefully, to the catch. And the other thing is, we've been kind of cheating a little bit the way we line up to try to get whoever we wanted to the ball at that particular time. So, yes, we're going to have to cheat our alignment, whether it's with width or whether it's with distance closer to the ball or further away from it so you can play the big hop. We're just going to try to figure it out as the game goes on. But there's a definite place that the ball seems to hit all the time, or within a parameter where the ball seems to hit all the time for him. But it's really, again, we've had that comment about if you want the ball to bounce back to you, go to the gym. And, well, this is what it's doing. When it hits the ground, it's been going everywhere.
Rich, how do you feel like Brandon managed the leg on Sunday night, and how's he been dealing with it this week?
Yeah, I mean, he had a good week. I mean, really, he thought he had a good Thursday last week, and he had a good warm-up. I think we extended the line a little bit on the big one there, and he hit it good, just came up a little bit short. I think we underestimated that open end of the stadium to some degree. I think the one certainly he would want back is before the half. I know he thinks for sure that should have been a gimme for him. But I feel like he's back to some degree and really better than he's been. I thought he had a real good day yesterday and anticipate him having a good day tomorrow.
Good with it, excuse me. You good with his kickoffs too, as well in the Pittsburgh game?
Yeah, I thought he did a great job in kickoffs in the Pittsburgh game. I thought the kickoff team played really well. We looked at drive starts to start the second half was the 26, and then it went to 23 and to 23, and our kickoff team did a great job covering. A lot of it had to do where Brandon placed the ball. He caused the one muff. A little bit of he hit a drive kick of his own, and then he put the one over in the right corner. Was really good for us. So, hopefully keep that going in the same direction, and hopefully our kickoff team can play well again.
What's the loss of Neiman for you? He was in a lot of tackles.
Yeah, and he was real smart and had a lot of different skills that we could, we moved him all over the place. We put him in a lot of different positions, not only on kickoff, but in punt return and what we were doing on kickoff return as well. And so we'll see how long and when, but it'll be a loss for this week for sure.
Rich, when Romeo takes that pause after he catches the punts to survey things, I know Jaden's done that in the past. I'm assuming that's a personal preference over a coaching point, or do you guys coach certain guys to do that?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I think sometimes his pause is a little long, but I thought he probably had his best game. He had the 111-yard return, and then we got the penalty on the other one. We had a drive start, I think, at the 40, and then it ended up going to the plus 45. So those were two big drive starts that we got points off of. So, but I also think, you know, he's a work in progress. I think after every practice rep and after every game rep, he's getting a little bit better. He sees it a little bit differently. And I thought that was his best look coming in. He's done a really good job in the red zone, and continually, you know, he'll get better. And I know he's enjoying doing it. So,
Is the pause just to let the play come to you and see where things are?
the pause at times, if those guys don't settle on the hands or they can get even with you, and they can actually run by the play. So there's a time for it, and there's a time to get it as fast as you possibly can. And I think he's trying to work on when to do which one.
It's supposed to be windy, or rather windy on Sunday. Obviously, that's a big factor for you guys, but how do you plan for it? How do you practice for it when maybe you might not get
We
through?
have pretty windy practice facility over here on both sides, and but it's the same for both on game day. I've always said that. The last time we played at home was a very difficult wind. I remember us, you know, talking about it. We ended up fourth quarter was to our advantage to some degree when the wind flipped. But it's just, you know, something that you're expected to play in when you come to Lambeau. It's certainly different in our stadium than it is on the practice field because of the bowl, but it's the same for both, and hopefully we do a good job figuring it out.
Is Pittsburgh the hardest place to kick in the league?
Oh, I think you'd have to ask kickers. You know, Boswell seems to have conquered that stadium pretty well. He's done a tremendous job for a long time. A lot of respect for the way he plays. You know, and I would say that one open end where we kicked the big one in and was short has been difficult in the past. But I do think Brandon came back in the second half and, you know, and played pretty well, you know, with his kicks. And Bosworth, like I said, has seemed to have conquered that stadium. But notoriously, it's been an issue for players to go in there and be successful on any given Sunday.
Is the field part of that too, or is it just a?
You know, for us, the only thing I can go by is the way the field was this particular game, and it was good enough. You know, it was good enough to kick in. Now, there was a bunch of different surface structures with the pit had just played on the game 3:30 before, so there was a lot of divots in there. And if you look at the end zone film of the kickers, both of them have changed the spots according to some of the divots that were in the ground. So that was a little bit of an issue to some degree, but I think it didn't have any bearing on really the kicks from either kicker. It's just a matter of they have to move the spot a little bit to get where they can get good grass for the plant foot. Good. Thanks, guys.
All right.
So we were talking to Mike earlier, and he called Colby Wooden the general.
The general.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're, anyways, how has the general been a big factor in your run defense?
I love the
Talk
general.
about your run defense.
Did he tell you why he called him the general?
Yes.
What'd he say? I'd love to hear his explanation.
He said VO gave it to him because the general is the heart of the run defense as the nose.
There's no doubt. And I think it's bigger than that. I mean, if you guys have been around him, right? He's got this energizing presence and personality, and it's upbeat, and how hard he plays, and the role that he's, all of a sudden himself finds him in. He's just this relentless guy who always has a smile on his face that you kind of want to follow him, And it's good to have guys like that, and it's cool to hear a Micah Parsons, compliment his teammates like he often has been doing, and giving a guy like that a nickname. But he's earned it. I'm proud of the way that he's played. I love being around him. I mean, he's been great.
Since you first got here last spring, how have you seen Colby Wooden progress? I mean, we can see physically how much he's bulked up. What have you seen from him?
Yeah, it's everything. It's his opportunity, right? He's playing a lot more. It's his fundamentals, it's technique. I think VO and DeMarcus and Wendell have done a great job with him. And it's just how hard he's worked. He's gotten bigger, he's gotten stronger. He's getting really good in the run game. And he's got confidence. And I think that's so important for all of our players, which is hard nowadays, right? I mean, everybody seems to ride these roller coasters, and he's just a confident guy now. And his teammates believe in him. He believes in himself. We believe in him. And I think that's huge. And I think he's like an energy giver. I think that's the best way that I could explain the guy. And like I said, I'm just proud of him. I think he's going to get better and better as he goes. And because he's still a young player who doesn't have a whole lot of experience. But I'm excited to see what he can do.
What does it mean for your defense and your line, especially to have Devontae back on the field?
Oh, it means a lot. I mean, from a lot of ways. If you watched early in the game and you just watched him run to the ball and how physical he was, even down the field. I'm not just talking about like point of attack. He's taking on double teams. He's making negative plays. His pass rush. He's pushing the pocket. Watch him run to the ball and watch him hit people down the field. I mean, whether it's chasing down a screen or chasing down a ball carrier or a receiver standing around the pile and he just, knocks a big guy over. He's just got a ton of energy, and he's strong, and he's a dog. I mean, and that's what he brings. He brings that attitude to the interior of the D-line. I think guys like rushing with him, and we certainly like him in the run game. And, I don't know if he was 100% because you could kind of see him working his way back into it. But I thought he played pretty well in his return. We missed him, and I think he'll get better as he goes, and he feels more comfortable.
Micah also has 3 fourth quarter sacks this year. And when I asked him about it, he explained it was more situational. But he does seem to play really good in the third and fourth quarter. Do you see that as well? What do you attribute that to?
Well, I think he plays good in all quarters. And I'm not saying that to take a shot at your question because I think your question is valid. I mean, I attribute it to this. I mean, if you watch Major League Baseball and the closer comes in at the end of the game and he's got to get 3 outs, that's his job. When it's the fourth quarter and we need a stop, a 2-minute stop, or we need a sack, Micah Parsons is our closer, and he's going to get the 3 outs. And I think he takes a lot of pride in that, and that's how he's built. And I think at the end of the game, when people start to get tired and he's putting his hand in the ground or he's coming up the middle or wherever we put him, he's just got a relentless motor, and he knows it's his job to close out the game. So I think that comes from here, and he's a great player.
Do you think, to follow up real quick, a lot of guys will get fatigued. Is mentally, though, can you be even sharper because you've seen everything at that point, too? He knows everything that he expected is really playing out in real time as well. So you could be mentally sharper even if you're physically tired.
Yes, and that's a good point. And I think what he does throughout the course of the game, which we also have to do, people don't protect against us like what we see on tape. There's like a Micah Parsons plan every week. And it's actually making us become better coaches because we're constantly thinking about, all right, how has Micah been protected against? How are they going to protect him against this week? We go into a game with a plan, we see it, and we have to adjust, right? And he sees it, and he hears it, and there's constant communication about it. And as we get going and we see that, I think it helps us out a lot mentally. right? I also think you have a guy that in those 2-minute situations, I mean, it's rush after rush after rush. You can't think about breathing at that point. You got to put your hand in the ground and do it again. And he just has that inside of him, and it's been really cool to see. But the mental part with Micah, I think, is one of the things that's hidden. Everybody sees this great physical player, but he is on it now when it comes to protections and what's going on, and that absolutely helps us later in the games.
Jeff, on the opposite side of that, with Rashawn on the other side of the line, I should say, what have you thought of just the start he's off to? Because I think it's already 7.5 sacks. It's tying what he had last year. His quarterback hits are right there too. Just kind of the groove that he's been on during the first half.
Yeah, it's been great. And the thing I said to him, I think it was Tuesday morning or Wednesday, whenever our first day back, was I'm just so impressed with how he's playing the run game. I mean, he's setting edges, he's getting off blocks, he's not just rushing up the field, he's physical, he's tackling. I think he's becoming a complete player. And what he's doing is he's taking advantage of his opportunities, and he's winning his one-on-ones. He got the sack fumble last week, and he's finishing. And I'm proud of him. And I think it all stems back from the hard work that he's put in, from OTAs to training camp to now, and how hard he's working on the practice field. And I still think his best football is ahead of him. So another guy, just appreciate how hard he's working and how he's playing right now.
Hey, Jeff, were the number of times that Carrington Valentine played press on Metcalf, when he was across from Metcalf, was that prescribed, or was a lot of it what he wanted to do? And, how did you think he handled playing press like that?
Well, there were situations we wanted to press him, based on where our help was and what the call was, because we wanted to get our hands on him if we had somebody over the top, or we wanted to get our hands on him and play underneath him, or it was a shorter down and distance and we wanted to challenge people. And then there's times we wanted to play off. But how do I think he played? I thought he played one of his best games since he's been here. And I think that says a lot about him as a person and him as a player. And I think it's important for all players to see that. Again, this league's hard. Every game's hard. And that's one of the hardest positions to play. And you're going to have adversity. And he had adversity, and he wasn't playing a lot. But he didn't sit there and sulk, and he didn't, complain. All he did was work, and he practiced harder, and he got better, and he earned the opportunity to go back on the field. And then what did he do? He took advantage of the opportunity, and he played really good against a really good wideout in one of the Hall of Fame quarterback. I mean, Metcalf didn't do much in the game, right? Most of the pass game wasn't very effective throughout the game, and he was a huge part of it. And that's why, take the game away. I'm most proud of the fact that guys have to be able to go through adversity, right? It's like everyone wants to point the finger at Nate Hobbs right now. Like, Nate Hobbs isn't benched. This isn't the last you're going to see Nate Hobbs. There's no confidence lost in Nate Hobbs. I said that last week. I have not lost confidence in him. And what I love to see right now is how Nate Hobbs practiced these last 2 days. And that's what we have to build around here. Things are going to get hard. You're not going to win every game, and you're not going to play great, but you can't hang your head. You got to rise up when that happens. And that's what CV did. And that's what I'm confident Nate's going to do, because we're going to need all those guys to win. And that's why I like coaching this group right now, because it's getting tight, and we all have to understand that and help each other out.
So what went into that decision?
There were a lot of things that went into the decision. How CV was practicing, how he was playing, and, he had the opportunity, he was playing well, and we just kept him in the game. I mean, there's really nothing more to it than that.
Is it difficult to have short-term memory back there? 'Cause
Yeah.
Nate kind of talked about, you can be good for 90% of the time, but the 10% kind of gets magnified.
Yeah, I mean, just think about it. I mean, you're the one position on the field where the camera's on you, there's no help, it's one-on-one, the ball's up in the air, and you could wind up on the ground with the receiver over the top of you catching the ball for a touchdown. And you have to get up and jog off the field. Like, just think about that for a second. There's however many thousand people at the game. There's however many million people watching the game. I mean, you could be in another position and miss a tackle and nobody really knows, or you could, not be where you're supposed to be on a play and nobody really knows, but the whole world knows. I mean, so that's hard, and you have to be tough-minded, and I don't want those guys to lose confidence, and you can't coach them that way, and you can't talk to them that way. You got to get them better. We got to get them better, but just appreciate and respect what goes into playing that position at this level and how hard that is, and to be able to bounce back from it. I mean, that takes a special person.
Quay didn't practice today. I'm not sure. Maybe it's precautionary or whatever, but you talked about him being elite last week. What would you miss without him, and what has made him elite in your mind? What have you seen this half of the season?
I just think there's so much growth to him as a person, as a leader, maturity, and then on the field. I mean, he sees the game so much quicker right now. And I think Sean Duggan has done an incredible job with him, teaching him the game, being around him. I think he's taken a big step, so I credit to both of them. His football knowledge, the way he's starting to see things and call runs out and call passes out and get guys lined up. Like if you watch him right now, and it's almost like he's a quarterback back there, moving a wide receiver over here, checking this. He's moving defensive linemen. He's sliding over linebackers. He's talking back there with X. He's starting to see things before they happen, which is really, really impressive. Then the communication, the things that I'm putting on him right now that I did last week in that game to try to go at those players, the way he communicated the calls and got in and out of things based on our conversations, he wouldn't have been able to do that last year. And I think he's taken a step that way. And then I think he's playing faster. He's playing more confident because you talk about confidence. Because there was a time last year when everybody, it was Quay Walker's not playing well. Is Quay Walker good enough? I mean, that was the reality of maybe last year at this time. And, you know, he probably feels that too. But right now, just like the rest of these guys, I mean, he's got great confidence and he's not wavering from that and he's playing like that. And that's what we want these guys to do is just don't be afraid to make mistakes out there. Just be confident and go play as fast and as hard as you can. And if something bad happens, we'll correct it, we'll fix it, but let's just go on to the next play. And that's hard to do. I cannot say enough about how well that guy's playing and how much I appreciate the hard work that he puts in, the extra meetings that he comes and sees me. We go over the call sheets. We talk about what he likes, what I like, why. I mean, I love the guy.
Hopper played a lot of middle linebacker in camp, right, with the twos?
He did.
So what's behind the decision, at least the last time, you went with McDuffie in the middle instead of him?
Just the experience and the opportunities that we've seen and been around him, and he's done it, and just really that's all right now. Just the confidence that we have in him. I think Hop could do it too, so I think they're both very good options to do it. They're all going to have to play.
You've had Hopper out there at least a little bit, like on that 2-point play he was out there.
That was a great play too.
I guess why was he out there in obviously in an important situation? What did you think of him?
It was a package we had with an extra linebacker in the game. They came out in a personnel grouping that we wanted to match it in that position on the goal line. And then, I grabbed him after the game. I mean, that was it. That was game over when he made that play because the guy had the ball for a second and he gloved it out and ripped it out. I mean, I don't know if that play gets enough credit, so I'm glad you brought it back up. That was one of the biggest plays of the game. I do have confidence in Hopper, and I do believe that the further we go into the season, the more that you'll see him play.
Two more, please.
Jeff, you know those, some of the times when you mug Quay and
Coop? I didn't know what you're saying.
Yeah, I know.
It's all right.
It's old age.
No.
At the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And sometimes Quay will bail out a little bit early. Are you still working with him on holding water, or are those things that, you're okay with that, where he's trying to,
No, you're
back to where he wants?
It's both, right? A lot of times, say last week the guy's up there and he's got the best hard count and he's changing and he's full and it's and then all of a sudden, the biggest thing is you want to use the shot clock, right? So just for some insight, a lot of times you tell the players before you go into any game, try to find out where that shot clock is, because a lot of quarterbacks, I could tell you, most offenses we study, you try to find out when they snap the ball on third down. So you try to use that shot clock to gauge it, and you work really hard on that at practice, so you can hold there as long as you can. Now, the other thing is, if I want him mugged up, but I give him a job that's like really, really far away, and he cannot get it done from the line of scrimmage, then I'm totally okay with him getting out early. Because when I talk about disguise, which we talk about a lot, don't ever let the disguise take away from executing your job. Does that make sense? So if he has to get out early to do his job, that's okay. Make sense?
When defending the run, Evan had talked about the importance of trust, not overextending yourself, doing your job, knowing that the person next to you is going to. That trust element, is that just developed in all of the practice reps, the film room, or where does that come from?
Yeah, it's from practice, and it's from trusting the guy in front of you after seeing it over and over again is going to do his job so that you can do your job. When you talk about run defense, a lot of times you talk about building a flat wall, right? So there's gaps. So if the three techniques over here and the A gap is the open gap, and I'm responsible for the A gap, I got to trust the 3 technique stays in the B gap. And what he can't do is when the ball goes like this, he can't do this too early, because if I'm in the A gap and he's in the A gap and the ball crosses back to the B, we're in trouble. So it's trusting the 3 technique's going to stay the 3 technique. If I'm Evan and I have a 9 technique in front of me, which means I'm going to set the edge on the defensive end, he's the outside piece. He has to stay outside the tight end, and Evan has to stay inside. Well, if that defensive end comes inside and Evan's inside, we're going to give up an explosive play. So that's how it's like a puzzle, right? Everybody's got to fit the right part of the puzzle, and you build a flat wall and you play good defense. The only way you get that done is if everybody does their job, which is the hardest thing to do on defense. Because if one guy's wrong, we're all wrong, right? And that's the huge part of what Evan's talking about, because I could see what he's saying. A lot of times we insert him in different spots. He's got to trust the guy in front of him is in his spot. So if he's in his spot, we're in good shape. Does that make sense? So that's what he's saying. Evan's a smart guy. Anybody else? All right, thank you, guys.
Matt had said that Christian might even play a little bit more than he anticipated. What did you think of the way he started, and could it have gone much better for him, do you think?
Yeah, it definitely couldn't have gone much better. I was really excited. We were able to get him the ball early, just kind of get him going, and then him to make those explosive catches down the field. He just looked like, the old Christian, which was great. And I think, over these next few games, we'll just keep ramping him up more and more, and he'll just be that same player that he's been throughout his whole career, which is awesome.
Matt was saying that he's kind of saw glimpses of that from Christian in practice even before. I mean, you never expect a guy to come back from an ACL in first games like that. Was there a play that you can remember during his build-up where it's like, oh, he's still him?
Yeah, I can't remember specific plays, but there was a few of them where you just felt his speed down the field. You saw him make downfield catches, and you're like, all right, he's feeling pretty good. And I mean, you guys saw him working out the last couple months on the sidelines, him running down the sidelines, and he was just ready to go. And it was a great job by our training staff, or by him, just getting back to this point so quickly. It's been pretty impressive.
Have you seen enough from Wilson to give him some more snaps, or does Jacobs need all those snaps to get, oiled up and to be, as effective as he's going to be for a full game?
Yeah, I mean, what I've seen from Emmanuel's been great. He's done everything we've asked of him. He's gotten the ball. He's run hard. He's protected the football for the most part. He's been very productive in the pass game. He's blocked. Josh is going to be our guy, and we're always going to try and maximize his reps for sure. But I think it's nice to have a guy like Emmanuel that can go in there and do a really good job for us. And so far, he's proven that.
And what kind of progress and growth have you seen from him? Going from a guy that was just, an undrafted guy's claim to kind of being that defender.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just him playing that confidence that he plays with. When he gets the ball, you can feel him. He's running downhill. He's breaking tackles and just doing a really good job making plays for us.
Sunday night, the best you've seen Jordan play?
Yeah, it has been. He was on fire. He was playing with a lot of confidence. He was finding the open receivers, making really good decisions. And just doing a great job executing, and then just making some great plays on his own, which is awesome. I think that was probably one of the best games he's played here.
How'd you evaluate the play at right guard with Ryan and Morgan?
Yeah, I thought they both did a nice job, and it's kind of the same thing. They're just kind of a weekly deal where we just compete during practice and see how it goes.
Is that a fluid situation in the game?
Well, in the game, yeah, we kind of have a plan, and then it changes as it goes if we need to. But I like kind of what we're doing now, because I just like having those guys involved, and I think it just helps both of them just be involved and play, and they both do a good job. So, yeah, it's just kind of a fluid thing.
Do you just divvy up their snaps in practice pretty evenly and then decide on the weekend if one of them's gonna play, or do you do that during the week and one gets more?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a weekly evaluation of kind of the snaps they get throughout the week, and just how you feel about the matchups and everything like that. And both guys, you know, they both work other positions too, just in case they need to back up in other areas. So, yeah, it's just kind of a fine line of navigating all those things.
Do you think you've pinpointed where, you know, some of the combination blocks where guys have come free and you just haven't been able to get Josh free? Have you been able to identify why it's happening?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Is there a lot to it that, is it just practice that you have to?
Yeah, I mean,
sharpen
it
things
just
up?
comes down, a lot of them is just executing the call and then playing with better fundamentals. So I think that's a big thing for us, is just doing a better job fundamentally. And I love our effort. I love how hard we're playing. You know, I love our attitude. We just need to do a better job focusing on our fundamentals for sure.
Is it a communication issue too? Because I think one time, like, Zach Tom pointed to a guy who was gonna block, and Josh Jacobs came over and blocked the same guy, and the guy
Oh,
came
you're
out.
talking about in pass protection?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
there's,
pass protection, but
we've had a couple issues there where, yeah, we've cut guys loose, but I think for the most part, it's been pretty tight.
does that happen in the run game much at all? Has that been?
I mean,
effective?
yeah, there's some guys that we haven't blocked at times, so, you know, when you're running plays, you just gotta make sure you get hats on hats, and I think that's the biggest thing for us, getting the run game going to be better, is just making sure we're allowing Josh to get through the first and second levels, more consistently.
What have you seen from Carolina's run defense on the whole? Obviously, they got roughed up pretty bad last week. The previous few games, they played really well.
Yeah, I would say that they're missing a lot of guys up front and linebacker wise, and I think that's hurting them. And they're kind of a bend but don't break defense, where they're going to play an umbrella shell and kind of got their 5 across fronts up front and try and just stuff the ball inside. I think Derek Brown's playing really well. Their interior player, he's doing a really nice job. And they have some other interior players that are pretty good. They do a good job clogging up the inside. So, yeah, it's just going to be another good test for us this week, handling that defense and just taking a step forward with us as an offense.
Going back to Jordan, if you going in that game, you know that Josh has the calf, and so the run game, you don't know how much you can get there. The idea of him having 37 passes, would that have been something that you would have expected, or how much was that just kind of how it unfolded?
Yeah, it kind of unfolded as we were going, when we just felt the production that we were getting from the passing game. I think that's one cool thing about our offense, is like we're very multiple, and we can run the ball, we can throw the ball, if one's working better than others, it's not like we have to, you know, go back to the run game or the pass game. We can just kind of lean on what's working, and adjust as the game goes. So, yeah, I wouldn't have expected that, but I wasn't surprised either, just with obviously the weapons we have, the plays that Tucker was making, and all those guys just making down the field. Yeah, it was great to get that going for sure.
How significant do you think that is for Jordan and his development? You know, a young quarterback's best friend is the run game, and so
Yeah.
I think where you have those questions there for it, and you be able to put the game on the passing game, on the quarterback, and him to the
Oh, I think that, yeah, it's very significant. And also just him trusting, you know, not necessarily like you have to make the big play. You can just get the ball to your playmakers and they'll make plays too, right? They'll break some tackles, they'll get some explosive runs. So just trusting all the guys around you. And I think he's done a really good job of that as this year's gone on. So yeah, it's been fun to watch.
You mentioned about Carolina's style of defense. How many times have you faced a team whose style you expected and you got something else defensively this year? Has that happened?
Oh yeah, that
a
happens
number of times?
quite often, yeah, quite often.
Does that happen to you guys more than it does to most teams, or do you find that that's how?
Well, I can only speak from our perspective, but yeah, I think people sometimes change up what they're doing when they play us, just because they know like they have to play a certain style in order just to contain all the different weapons that we have, whether it's in the pass game or the run game. So, yeah, we definitely have to make a lot of adjustments as the game goes, just because of that reason, for sure.
So you go into this game plan, are you sure they're going to stay to that, or?
No, I'm not sure about anything, but you kind of go and see what they do, and then you have your plan, and then, again, you just got to make adjustments as the game goes, for sure.
You don't make like a second play call sheet or, like a backup play call sheet or anything like that, do you?
Yeah, sometimes.
So you know?
Depending on how things are going, yeah, for sure. Or you just have like a separate little list of things in case you're getting certain looks or coverages or different fronts, whatever it is that you think you might get, for sure.
As a former line coach, what do you feel the way that Banks has played? Obviously, you guys paid him a lot of money with a lot of expectations that come with that.
I think, obviously, beginning of the year, banged up, all the groins, backs, things that he had, and I think every game he's played, he's looked better and better and better, and I think this game was no different. He had his best game here. I thought he did a really nice job. He's doing a good job kind of being the enforcer out there, plays with physicality, so it's been good. Cool. Thanks, guys. See you.